It's everywhere. In grid deformations, correctly working pistons, rotors, landing gears, and much more. We strengthen the constraints of these blocks so players can push them to their limits now, without the risk of parts exploding everywhere as they often did before. We took steps towards more stable simulation and better user experience while keeping overall simulation as realistic as possible. The movement of subgrids is now greatly improved in most cases. Damage caused by subgrids was adjusted in a way that it will be ignored between subgrids of the same physical group. Your creations will no longer get destroyed by accidental subgrid impact, allowing you to make even more impressive creations. This is a big day for all space engineers out there. Everything you wanted to know, but were afraid to ask about our Physics Overhaul, is in this blog post, made by our programmers, for you.
Hello everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. Do we have many people out there in the chat tonight? What an exciting day it is. Let's see here. We're here.
Hey.
Hello everybody. How you doing? So of course today, it's been we've been working on it for a while now, but we have released our major physics overhaul. And joining me, I've got a couple of the programmers. So I'll let them introduce themselves and what their roles are here at Keen Software House.
Hello, I am Rexar. Most of you know me, I think. I am a programmer here. I work mostly on the game logic and mod API stuff. And that's one of the big things in the update this week, is a mod API overhaul, which I will tell you about soon.
Hey, my name is Martin. You may know me as Inflex. I work here at Keen on VRH stuff, on our
Get a bit closer to the mic, mate. Sorry.
on our in-game engine VRH, major on physics, and I was working on the stuff that went out in this update.
So yes, Martin was primarily behind a lot of the stuff today. I mean, there's a team of engine programmers, but Martin actually wrote the blog post, which you guys might have read so far. So let me just much music. Okay, let me just adjust that slightly. And actually, we'll start off here by looking at one of the things I use in the video. Let's see. I'll try just doing this as well. Should be fine, but. We have to. These guys are dashing off. Rexar is actually traveling to Paris. And do we have any Paris fans in the chat tonight? Because if you want to meet up with him, he wants to do a Space Engineers meetup in Paris, actually.
Yep.
So let's see. Okay. So this is something that you might have recognized from the video, and this was something that Aragaf whipped up, and it was just an example of a construction-based ship. So if I enable the projector here, we'll see the welders come in. Everything starts spinning and welding up this fighter. Now this is kind of, what would be more impressive here is if I actually flew this, because one of the things is we have removed safety lock. So I don't know if Martin, it was mentioned in the blog, but maybe you could go over some of the thoughts behind why safety lock wasn't sufficient for what we needed to do.
Yeah, before we tried to like safety lock things, and we thought that the locked things will work in high speeds, but actually in the end it didn't work out really well. The hot swapping the rigid bodies behind the scenes on the physics engine caused a lot of blank. So we decided to remove this thing and like replace it with better constraints that will keep the grids together even in high speeds.
So it's a big change actually to have that now removed.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get it to max speed, and you'll see that even with the rotors moving, it will no longer lock at like 99. Yeah, it's my bad. I mean, I've just got that kind of annoying voice, I think is what it is. Let me just get this up here as well. Okay.
Yeah, Joel just talks really loud.
It's true. I got an obnoxious voice. So I don't know if you want to also talk about some of the other features that you worked on specifically for this. I mean, I know they're in the blog post, but some people might not have read that yet.
Other features. So there are some things you may recognize on first sight, like pistons are no longer penetrating solid objects. They'll stop in place without like tearing your ship apart.
So I'll show this actually while you talk about it.
Sure.
Subgrids don't have speed limit now, right?
Subgrids don't have speed limit. When you travel at full speed and you have some angular velocity, like you are rotating your ship, it will no longer the subgrids will no longer disconnect because of like speed limit. So this is a huge benefit. Also, subgrids no longer like damage your base grid when they impact the base grid. This should help to create like more immersive creations and like contribute to better user experience.
So this is going to be super basic showing off here, but this is just showing as simple as I can make it. And now I'm going to come over to the piston, and we're going to open up here. And down here we have these two new sliders. And this actually allows you to set the force of a piston. Before you couldn't do this, it was just infinite force. So now if I reverse it, I'll increase the velocity a little bit here so you can see it moving. So change velocity, and that is now stopped. Just so we can see it in a better way, I'm just going to build like a little flight seat here so we can actually watch it and control it. Okay.
You broke it.
I broke it. Hold on. So one of the things is, with this slider, you're able to actually force your way through the block if you want to. That's the key thing, right?
Yeah. Before we had these pistons without force settings, they were fully kinematic. That means they were just positioned, and they would penetrate anything without asking. So now we have this maximal impulse settings. So you can set it like low. It will like stop when it should stop. But if you need, like in gravity, you for example need them to be very strong, you can set the slider exactly as you need it.
Then because this is the thing, right? If you want it to penetrate a block and the piston head explodes, you can still do that. But now you can control that when that happens. So now, as it's showing, it's applied a certain force, but it isn't enough to penetrate it. So again, if I reverse this, and if I turn it up to something crazy, of course, this is going to go right through.
Yeah, actually, you have disabled the game warnings. If you have Shift F1, enable the warnings.
Okay. And this will show you when there's these settings that will cause this. Yeah. So it's worth mentioning that to keep backwards compatibility with existing builds, all your pistons now will have settings that
some high settings.
Yes.
All the old saves will default the pistons to some high values. So when you load your all saves, you may see these new warnings. That's because there are like blocks in a world with like these high settings. You can like push them back to some low values, and warnings will go out.
So exactly, if you see, when I was recording this video, there was a world by Joachim, and he made this setup which was showing off pistons and rotors. And what was happening again was this. I remember I called you. I was like, Martin, pistons. What's going on here? And it was like, oh no, because it's using the old settings, so it's causing this problem. So a newly placed piston should be safe to use, right?
Yeah, we just wanted to be sure that things that worked before doesn't stop to work because of low piston settings.
Exactly. I mean, we have like 200,000 items in the workshop, and if all of those had to be just broken by changes, that wouldn't have been a good thing. So that was key as well. So yes, 4 sliders in pistons. I just wonder if I show off. And this was in course in one of Marek's teasers, which he showed off during the week.
The next important thing I would like to mention is the new option in the all mechanical connection blocks.
Okay.
These are rotors, pistons, and wheels. It's called shared inertia tensor. You can find it in terminal. If you can show it. There's no terminal.
I don't think there was. Yeah.
Control panel.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, there is the shared inertia tensor settings, and this is supposed to sort of replace the safety lock, but not really replace. It is supposed to help when you have long chains of pistons and rotors. It's hard to simulate these in real time. So we decided to give you a chance to make the center part of the rotors more resilient to angular impulses, and it will improve your simulation.
So something like this, where you have rotors upon rotors upon or pistons upon pistons.
These usually tends to clang out, rotate in different directions, and
okay. And do you do them for all of them, or do you do them for the first one?
Basically, the rotor is connecting 2 grids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rotor base is 1 grid and rotor top is 1 grid. And when you enable in the shared inertia tensor, it will connect these 2 grids together to one group.
Okay.
It will make them share the tensor. So you have to enable on everyone.
Right.
To connect every grid.
And I see a lot of questions in the chat, and the main thing I would ask you to do, if you have any questions, please do read Marek's blog post first, because a lot of your questions will probably be answered in that, because it's a very, very long technical post written by Martin. So I would suggest looking for your questions there first, and then maybe seeing what you haven't been answered.
It's not really that technical, but I was trying to explain the new things the best way I could.
Yeah, somebody was asking about the safety detach.
Safety detach is another new thing. So when you experience some clunk for some unknown reasons, there's the safety detach. It's the new slider, and it will automatically detach any subgrid when it's too far from where it should be. So when clunk catches your grid, it will automatically disconnect the subgrid, so the clunk will go out basically.
Okay, that's a key thing.
So it will stop to fly all over the space and stop killing people. It will just disconnect in peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a good point. And in terms of our plan for tonight, I didn't actually say at the start what our schedule is. So we're going to have these guys chat with us for a bit longer, and then we're going to have Marek and also Petter, who is the producer of Space Engineers, join us later as well to talk about some related to this, but also some other stuff looking ahead. So maybe wait for a bit longer. I see some questions about next milestone and stuff, and we'll talk about that kind of thing in a little bit. Right. So.
What about phasing through planets?
That's another thing. We try to solve phasing through planets. So planets should no longer eat our ships. when you crash into them, we find some issues in our code and fix the core issue, hopefully. We also adjusted the general deformations. I think Marek will talk about it.
I'm just going to show off one of the other builds that I used in the trailer. Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if you're German.
No, I'm Czech.
Yeah, that's my naming scheme right there, Deshla. I'm sorry about that. That's pretty abysmal. So yeah, this was a tank that we used in the trailer here, and it was one of my favourite shots. And this was basically saying this chain that's being used as the for the tracks is basically that those parts will no longer damage each other because yeah, that's how one of them. Have you mentioned that yet?
Yeah, I mentioned it already.
Okay.
Actually, tracks were one of those things we had the most problems with. We were like overhauling the low-level system in our engine. This was really pain to get tracks to work.
The smoke on those tracks is intense.
I know.
Where's that even coming from?
I don't know. It just looks so cool though, right?
It's like moon dust.
Yeah, moon dust. There you go. Oh yeah, sorry, Twiki.
The mic away
is,
from me. I'll
yeah.
move it right over to him. Look, there we go.
Yeah.
Now it's right over here. This light, you can see it's there. It's right in front of me. I'll just.
Yeah, Martin's just quiet and I'm far away.
We all need to get lapel mics.
Yeah. We probably should have actually.
I think it's definitely for these kind of crazier builds. This idea where the subgrids are in the same physical group, not damaging each other. That is, I think, quite a significant thing. This was a scene here, again, set up by a level designer, Aragath.
Yeah, I think block damage is on, but the thing is that subgrids don't damage the parent grid.
Yeah, the tracks are like made out of small connected subgrids, and they will no longer damage each other.
Yeah.
In vanilla, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to like enable
Right.
any special settings. You can actually disable it. It's in word settings.
Trying to think if was there any. What was I going to say about this? And what did you guys think of the video? Because there was something that was being worked on across a number of people, and Marek was had played a big part in the direction of that. So how did you feel about the video? Okay then. So I know you haven't got too long, so if you could think any more features. I mean, there is quite a lot, but have you gone through the main ones? I think so.
Nothing that comes to my mind right now.
Actually, I can get the blog post up here and make sure that it's pasted in the chat so people have read it. Okay, here we go. So just in case you didn't read that, that's the blog post. I just want to flick over here. So okay, well.
What about the documents?
This in general? Have you mentioned?
I already mentioned this.
Mm-hmm. Says
Pistons no longer penetrating.
that was more just talking about it.
Yeah,
Right?
it's still an issue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Body.
Yeah, that is actually interesting one.
Okay.
So we have like a new system that is detecting like stationary grids, and we are like disabling this the physical simulation on these grids, and the system is now much better. It tends to be more aggressive when disabling the subgrids and connected grids with landing gears and things like that. So now it's more important than ever to like convert your ships to stationary where you don't fly them. It's important for like server sim speed. So if you want your servers to run at 1.0 sim speed, tend to lock your ships to asteroids or convert them to stations.
Mm-hmm.
It will help a lot.
And there is some, in that blog post, there is some kind of advice for helping with performance, right? Like things that you can do to maximize that on these kind of more complex worlds.
It's basically this. Try to log them or dock them to like stationary things like voxels, planets, or another stations.
Okay. Let's quickly go over this blog post here.
Oh, right.
This?
No. Yeah, that. When you have subgrids and you're trying to hover on a planet.
We also adjusted the system that is like applying thrust to our grids. So the subgrids are taken into account, and the thrust is adjusted, so the subgrids no longer like cause the drift of the entire grid.
Because that was something really hard. If you had anything with like pissing the rotors on, you'd always feel like this like drag, right?
Yeah. It was,
so especially these VTOL builds, so now you won't feel that drag, which is good.
Yeah, so the game will compute the new center of mass and apply thrust here, so it will no longer drag. And this also applies to ships in gravity. Before, when you build some ship in gravity and it has subgrids, it tends to like fall over and like fall in the gravity on the ground and crash.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you like park your grid with subgrids in a gravity, it will stay there. It won't fall over any longer.
That's really, really good. So just making sure have we done this?
Mm-hmm.
This displace subgrids.
It's just minor thing.
Safety fuse.
It's safety detach.
Mm-hmm.
Deformations. And this yourself. And that's basically all.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about technical details. It's not really interesting.
I'm sure the guys would love to know technical details. Actually, I'm sure they would love to know.
It's quite boring.
No, I'm sure it's.
It's almost 6:30. Don't you have to go?
Oh, I've almost like 15 minutes. Maybe.
Okay. Any last points you'd like to? Any words of advice to give the?
Try to not break new physics.
Don't slap. I mean, they'll do that now even harder.
I will have to fix it, so don't try to break it.
This guy's been working very hard, so the more you try and break it, the later and the less sleep he has.
If you have some problems with new physics, builds that worked before but doesn't work now, it shouldn't happen, but may happen. Just send them to forum, report it, and we will take a look and try to fix it.
That's a key point, actually. That we're still there are still some edge cases, and it's one of our next focuses is to find these edge cases where there's some slightly peculiar, unique stuff going on. So if you do find some stuff, definitely send it in on our forums.
Yeah, there may be grids that used to use like safety lock before, but the safety lock was removed, so they may work worse, a little bit worse. So usually there helps the shared inertia tensor. It will help usually there. And if not, report it, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just making sure we. Okay. There's some of the stuff we were going to go over with Marek. I don't know with the grid deformations if we can probably talk about that with I don't know if you guys.
It was like made in close supervision of Marek, so I think he'll know more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, I know Rexar has to go also pretty soon. So
yeah.
Rexar wants to mention something about the mod API which released today, I think.
Yes. There is a extremely detailed post on the forum, which includes a complete list of all changes we made in the API. There's some new modding guides linked from that post. The changelog post is linked in the main update post for this week. So click that and then click through the links and read all this. It's great. The thing we focused on this month was fixing all of the bugs and broken things in the API that we are aware of. And most of it came from community reports through the forum and through Rexbot. So thanks to everyone who reported things. You kept me extremely busy over the last month. And we are planning more mod API improvements in the near future, including some changes which should mean that mods won't break anymore when we update.
So it's good stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the highlights are that the programmable block no longer requires a timer. Scripts can update themselves now, and you can change the update rate dynamically inside the script all on your own, and users don't have to touch it anymore. Mods can, I forgot the full list, but one of the really cool things is mods can now create pressurized zones in space, sort of the same system that planets use. So a couple of the modders have been working on a really neat mod. It's basically a air shield kind of thing. It makes this bubble in space with this really sweet emissive sphere, and you can breathe inside of it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Awesome.
So lots of modding improvements. Lots of cool mods are going to come out soon. Oh, and also one big thing. Modded planets can now use custom cloud layers. So gas giants very soon. As soon as Dr. Octaganithus gets the memo and starts updating things. And also, I'm going to Paris tomorrow, and if anybody's in Paris, we can do a fan meetup. I have some signed copies of Space Engineers to give away.
Yeah.
So
first come, first served. There's two people. Yeah. There's two people who want to
Yeah. So probably somewhere near Port de la Villette tomorrow night. So if you are interested in that, contact me on the Discord.
If any French fans out there, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Right. I'm also gonna try and find the link for the mod API and guides.
That one.
Yeah, that is the one.
Yeah.
Which I'll paste in the chat. So if there are any modders who missed the memo about the changes to mod API, and they're huge, you should definitely check that one out.
Yeah, let me pull that up so I can. Are there any questions about the mod API? Because
this is probably not the best time to ask the questions.
This is true.
The chat.
Something else this week, the laser antennas got an upgrade.
Yes.
I increased the performance of the line of sight check in the laser antennas, and we decided to up the range to 200 kilometers, which allows for Earth to moon communications.
This is big stuff. This is really big stuff.
Yeah. And
was it 40 before or 50?
It was 40.
Yeah, so trying to get to space was really hard. You have to have a really quick relay. So now you can actually have a satellite relay uplink from the Earth light to the moon, which is fantastic.
It's completely feasible to make relay stations to get to Mars or alien planet even. And we are working on some more laser antenna improvements, which you should see soonish, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
The changes shouldn't break many mods. Some scripts will be broken because we had to change some stuff. There were some exploits and some extremely broken things that we really needed to fix. But the breakages should be limited. The worst things are that ArmOS is probably broken. Some of Whiplash's things, Master's scripts. But Inflex and I have reached out to these scripters over the past month or two and have worked with them to help them update their scripts. So they shouldn't be broken for very long.
Hopefully they will update their scripts soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Basically, Radif, the range of laser antennas is increased. It's going to be increased to 200 kilometers rather than 40. So that actually allows you to go from the land Earth-like to the moon. Yeah,
in the star system scenario, the moon is 160 kilometers away from the Earth, so we rounded it up to 200.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how far is Mars from Earth?
2,000 kilometers.
But that's okay, because that actually it means it's like 10.
Yeah.
rather than a lot more. So you can,
Like
you can now have like a satellite
50.
relay. Exactly. So relays to the different planets is now feasible, I would say. So yeah. Okay, Rexar. Any other points you really want to point out, or Martin?
If you have any issues with the mod API, if because we made a lot of really big changes, if you have any issues at all, there are some links, there are some threads on the forum with mod API and PB API issues. So either post it there or in the bug report section on the forum, or even better, do a Rexbot bug report through our Discord server, and then the Rexbot reports immediately come to my desk and I fix them as soon as possible. So if your mod is broken unexpectedly and it's not working the way you would expect, please contact us and we will fix it.
Yeah, same applies for physics. If you
Yes.
have something, report it. It will definitely get to me.
Yeah, the antennas the laser antennas are updated in this current release. They should be 200 kilometers right now.
Post a link to the Discord server. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The chat is moving very fast today, guys.
Yeah.
It's great to see so many of you here. I thank Phoenix84. You should just mod Phoenix84.
Yes.
I can't mod him here. I was gonna. Yeah. But hopefully you guys have are having fun with the update already. Has anyone actually loaded up the game and made some tests yet? Let's see some 07s maybe in the chat if you've actually played the game. Yeah. It really is key though that existing creations, like I found the other day, if you move some piston and there's something crazy happens, you need to look at those force settings, because again, it was there to keep backwards compatibility, but you need to look, and will it always say, if there's any like settings that are red, will there be that warning that says there's piston settings?
In case people have warnings enabled, it will show, but you didn't have, so you didn't see it.
Okay, yeah.
So again, Shift F1.
Shift F1.
Enable warnings.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people have played already then. Damn.
One last thing about the laser antennas. Small grid laser antennas are also 2,000 kilometers. But the power use, I think, is the same as the large grid, so you're going to need more reactors to power it. We'll be tweaking the power use of the laser antennas in the near future.
A lot of people have played already. See a lot of 07s there. That's awesome.
Yeah, people were excited. Sorry, not 2,000 kilometers, 200 kilometers.
Yeah, but the distance is to Mars is 2,000. What we're saying. And welcome to everyone else who's joining us tonight. Okay, so this was another scene here, from the trailer, of course, when talking about the moving subgrids. But I think we'll probably keep this just here for when Marek comes on. Yeah. So, any last points, guys?
Have a good time with physics.
Have a good time with physics. Yeah, definitely. Is Martin? How long have you been working on? It's been a good amount of time.
Just a few months, I think 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it's been quite a.
Since January.
Been a fun ride though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who's standing behind it? No, no one's standing.
It's in the game.
Oh, it's in the game. Yeah. No one's
stand,
standing there.
I think.
That's weird. Yeah.
Big time with physics, yeah.
Marek's coming. Any last words? Yeah. What's that? Everyone's saying sim speed in the chat. Sim speed. Sim speed. Okay. Seem a lot excited about sim speed. Yeah, I actually saw reports of when the stream was first starting up. Someone was saying actually that they found better sim speed now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did some optimization of physics.
Fantastic.
And it should run much better now.
Okay, so it wasn't. I don't think it was emphasised so much in the video, but yeah, you should see some increases to sim speed as well with this update.
Especially on last grids with a lot of doors or a lot of sub parts like pistons.
Mm-hmm.
These things, they should work much better now.
Fantastic.
And faster.
Sim speed or riot? Yes. Going to find one of Aragast's little bots here. I had quite a lot of these. Little spider bots.
Those are cool.
They are cool. Why do I keep flipping here? We'll talk a little about what's next, Warpig, in a second.
Oh yeah, and the programmable block changes made this week, the self-updating stuff, actually will help improve performance with lots of scripts in the world, because the script updater has a load balancing component in it. So when there are lots and lots of programmable blocks scheduled for automatic updates, it actually distributes them across many ticks to help reduce large spikes. Like if you have a whole bunch of scripts update all at once, you don't get a huge spike in sim speed. It's kind of just evened out over a bunch of ticks.
That's really a huge benefit for servers.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh. This is some Aragast. I've just turned the sensors on, so they're now going to chase me and shoot me.
Hello, Rodel.
It's probably quite loud like this. Maybe not. Yeah, safety lock. Basically, it was something that was done, but it wasn't sufficient solution for rotors and pistons, which I think you guys will probably appreciate, because in the end it caused more problems than it actually solved, which is why it was removed.
It caused a lot of problems, and they may not look like connected to safety locking, but it was causing a lot of problems. So we tried something else now.
The best place to report bugs is either on the Keen Software House forum or on our Discord server through Rexbot. The Rexbot reports go directly into our Jira tracker, so they tend to get to programmers a lot faster.
All right then, guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done for this update, and all the work that you will be doing in the future. So thank you very much to both Brant and Martin.
Yeah, see you guys on Discord.
On Discord, yeah. And do definitely contact them both if any issues for their separate things that you need to contact them for.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. See you.
Now we're going to welcome Maddox to the stream.
Hello, guys.
So how are you feeling about the update today, Marek?
Very good. Yeah, I'm really happy. And it took a lot of time to get there with the stability of the physics and all these things, but we are finally there, so I'm happy. So let's show something.
Okay, well I was about to get into this tank here. Check this one out. Just keeping it before. I've got to remember where the entrance is. If I can find the entrance. I found it for the video. Oh, it's at the back, I remember now. Okay. So we had a shot like this. And we can turn left by 3 and right by 4.
Goodbye.
See you, man. There we go. And this was again representing the improved motion of subgrids.
Very nice.
Yeah, so basically, definitely, if you've got questions, guys, I see there's so many questions, there's more of you joining us. Please do take the time to read that blog post from Marek, because there's a lot of juicy stuff in there, and it should answer both technical questions and more general questions.
But as someone has pointed out, maybe this can look even better in like bigger gravity.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
It probably was designed for Earth-like planet because it's obviously having a little bit of air when it moves, so I think you're right. Still nice to see it working though. So I'll get this up here.
Yeah, so we can talk about the physics overhaul. So Martin covered, I think, all the like hardcore technical stuff. I will talk about grid deformations or like armor deformations, to put it simple. We wanted to get back to how the armor reacted to collisions, deformations, how it reacted in the early days of space engineers, you know, in 2013. So we played the old build again. Testers has played it many times, recorded videos and all these things, and then we were trying to recreate the robustness of the armor, all these impulses, how the deformations, you know, behave and all these things. And I think we get there.
It's quite a lot of tweaking, wasn't there, to get it right?
Tweaking and also fixing some things, you know, that got kind of broken during those years. And so I'm pretty happy with this. And because we never wanted the ships to feel like butter, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when they crash into the asteroids. And we did some tests. I did some tests the other week when we tested the original Space Engineers from 2013 and the current one. The difference was massive. Like the last week's update, or when you were running the game before today, if you crashed a ship, it really would just dissolve into an asteroid. So that shouldn't be the issue now. It's the same with ship-eating planets. When you crash a ship onto a planet, it won't just like completely just melt on the planet.
Yeah, and I remember that even in the early days when we were testing the deformations, we were taking inspiration from car crash tests, you know, and lightweight cars, heavy trucks hitting a wall, and we were watching how they react. You know, because sometimes the deformation absorbs the kinetic energy, and then, you know, the car or the vehicle doesn't bounce back so much, and many things like this. So I'm pretty happy with this, and I'm also happy with us being able to hopefully kill the Clank. And I'll just emphasize one thing, that this update focused on physics and a lot of multiplayer stuff, physics-related multiplayer stuff, but we'll be focusing on more multiplayer physics stuff in coming weeks or months. And it should be much better than before, but still we know some edge cases where things can go crazy in multiplayer.
The reason I'm showing this off is hopefully it's okay, that's fine. Hopefully the settings are correct on it. But this before at max speed would have, I think you did it you didn't do the teaser of it before, but in before at max speed this would have basically like completely exploded. Now hopefully now we will get to max speed and you'll see how we can move it all around and go crazy, and the subgrids will not damage one another, which is the key part about a build like this. So getting up to speed, I'll try and control it here. It's quite. This is of course the Clang avatar by Bruce Lee.
And also interesting thing about all these crazy physical creations is that when we were designing Space Engineers, we were not expecting people to be using or abusing the physics, you know, this much. Like when we introduced pistons, rotors and other things, we thought like, you know, they will build cheap and put one piston on it and that's it, but not something like, for example, this creature here. or the tank, you know. I mean, I was kind of expecting people will do it because you can do similar things in Lego Technic, but still I wasn't expecting someone will know how to build this or will have that patience and so on.
Yeah,
but this is really interesting. It feels so alive, right?
Yeah. I mean, someone just pointed out that something actually fell off, but I don't think that's due to the pistons, that's due to the thruster damage. Because if you watch the previous video, we're going to max speed here, and if you actually even revert back to the old build and you try this at max speed, the rotors and the pistons will be completely disconnecting. That's the key thing here. It's these mechanical parts are intact at this max speed, and they're not safety locking either, because also at max speed they would lock up and you would be unable to basically control the ship. It would lock up and then just go into the spin. So there's some parts flying off the middle here, but I'm almost convinced that you can just see that the thrusters are shaving off the top of those blocks, I think. What's happening? It's just coming from that center section there. It's not a spaceship game. You guys made a sandbox that has now become the best sandbox out there. Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate we can't show the before and after on stream, but I promise you, if you test this in the old build, this kind of device, creature, you will see the differences. There we go. Trying to wiggle it about here. It's quite hard at these high speeds. There we go. Majestic, eh? Now, one of the things, Marek, that you might want to cover is we mentioned it in the blog post here. I just want to point this out, which is, because lots of people are asking about multiplayer, right? So basically this here.
Yeah, so in the blog post there is a little disclaimer. We just wanted to make sure that this update focused on single player physics and little bit, or like a lot on multiplayer physics, but not enough, I would say. So that's where we'll be focusing now. And there is a little teaser made by our programmers. I think it was done by Chendo, not Martin, and he was running the Clang thing in a multiplayer with simulated 500 millisecond.
I've got it here. So you want to show it?
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the this is the Sacrifice of Clang in multiplayer, 500 millisecond ping, which is a lot.
Yeah, and it's not crashing, not exploding, and so on. And there are still some other edge cases that guys will have to fix, but this one is conquered.
So let's just wait for this to play out. So you see, it acts a little differently to the single player video, but it's still not exploding. And there's the warning saying the latency above 250.
It would be strange if it explodes now, right?
It would be really. I think I checked the video before it started.
Yeah.
And also,
But that would be real clank, you know, if it get to the video, you know, that we checked.
Yeah.
And it would explode
It's
inside
still
the video.
snuck us past. So, I think this just proved it was just kind of because a lot of people on Marek's teaser were saying, okay, this is great, and what about multiplayer? So this is kind of in response to that it's the multiplayer physics in multiplayer is like the next area of focus for the guys, but hopefully that will just provide is that it already it's working pretty damn well in multiplayer with that ping, which is 500 is a lot, right? Because normally anything over 250 is considered a lot, so 500 is quite extreme. Right.
Okay, another thing we can talk about is the skybox.
Yes.
So over the past months, we've also been doing what we call Marek's visual tweaks, and basically the point here is to get the visual art style back to where it was in original Space Engineers. And I have had a blog post a couple months ago on this topic. You can find it on my dev blog, and on this blog I describe how we wanted to create, or how we wanted the visual style of Space Engineers to look like, you know, originally. So basically it was about not fancy colors, like really keep the number of colors in a view to a minimum, and use colors such as red, blue, white, and so on to distinguish player created or player controllable objects from the nature, from voxels and stuff like that. And now I'm speaking mostly about the space stuff, asteroids and so on, not about Earth or Moon. And so then during the development, things kind of diverged from this vision, and now we want to get it back. And one of the most important things how to do this is to have the almost original skybox. So if you remember the original skybox, it was very monochromatic. There were some clouds, dusty clouds, and there are also some fake asteroids, but we took them off. So now it's just the cloud and stars and so on. And there will be some other visual tweaks as well. So this is just first one, and this skybox is not yet in the game. We just use it for all the videos and screenshots because we already felt like we want to go with this new visual style. But the skybox will come.
I mean, while you're on the visual tweaks, Marek visual tweaks, I can also show off this again, which I think, I think a lot of you guys have seen already because this was on Marek's Twitter, and I've shown it off on my stream a couple of times as well and talked about it. So we'll go through it again because I don't know, there might be people here who haven't seen this. So on the left here, we have the classic Space Engineers 2013 October and the look of the armor and the lighting, okay? In the center here, we have the current look of the game and lighting, skybox, about shadows and everything else, and the armor reflectivity. At the end here, we had one of the work in progress shots of this new armor and lighting and stuff. So hopefully you guys can see the direction that we're going with it.
And again here, the artists, they try to recreate the old look, or almost the old look. There is one difference on the armor, that it's not that dirty as it used to be.
Used to be, yeah.
But what we really wanted was to recreate the metallic feeling, like heavy metal scratched, but not too scratched, because again, it's not
not too many scratches.
Yeah, not too many scratches. Just that metallic feeling. So this was very important, and of course there are some other visual tweaks as well that we will be talking about in some future Twitch.
So again, that was another kind of look at that there.
And if people want to see a bigger picture, they can go to my Twitter.
I can try and make it a little bit bigger here. So again, October 2013.
And there is also one difference, that in the old one, the holes, the gaps,
the grooves in the armor, right?
Between the plates, they are much wider than currently in Space Engineers, and also in these new tweaks. And the reason for this is actually very funny, because before we actually released Space Engineers, when we were designing the armor, one thing that we didn't want was we really didn't want the looks to appear blocky, and also to appear like repeatable, tileable pattern on them. So we're really thinking about how to break this repetition. And so we created this kind of pattern, but then I think it was maybe a couple of weeks before the release, we felt like we should increase the sizing between these grapings, or what was the word?
Grooves.
Grooves, yeah. These grooves. And so we just double scale it in texture, so everything got twice as big, even these grooves. So and then it stays there for years probably. So now we'll make these grooves a little bit thinner, because they shouldn't be so thick.
Yeah, they shouldn't be as thick as the
because original. I think in the original they are thick like this, so it's kind of unreal. They should be less.
So I think actually somewhere in between then, because these are quite thick. They're quite thin now, so this actually looks like somewhere in between the current and the old.
The thing is that if they are too thin, it doesn't look so good from distance. So, but then again, if you're close and you see your feet, on them, and they are too thick, it's strange. So we had to do some, something in between. So I'm very happy with this new armor, or this old new armor.
Old new armor, yes. Yeah. Okay then, so that's. And also with, I think...
about the audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I will not go into details, because I think that would be spoiling it, for the later. But we are also working on audio, and even today we had a sound review, and then a couple days before and so on, and I think it's just spectacular, like what kind of audio we have right now in the game, in arcade, realistic, and all the crashes, ship sounds, and I'm already spoiling. But there is there is a lot more things. So
yes, there is. I listened to it on Wednesday night. We had a party here, and late at night I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, that's some good stuff right there.
I think it's like really AAA shit. It's really good. It's really good. So I'll be super proud to present it sometime.
Okay, Marek, I was also going to show this thing on stream live, but not Clank. So this is, of course, the sacrificial offering to Almighty Lord Clang. And before, this would have slowly dissolved into bits and bobs. And now, if I press 1, 2, 3, and 4...
So this ain't no video?
This ain't no video. This is live. This is...
Real time.
Yeah, real time.
And even the sim speed is okay. Even the server sim speed is okay. It's 1, which is good.
And I remember a time this would crash the game. This would bring a server or a world to its knees and the game would crash.
Yeah, so I think this is Clank Conquered, right? Actually, I think Space Origin is a AAA game. Don't really think. I mean, we are indies because we are small, and we do whatever we want. But I think it's AAA quality, right? Or it will be.
Yeah.
AAA shit.
They're gonna clip that, now. That's gonna be like the new response, auto response. Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is good. And
it will just carry on forever. I can keep switching it, changing direction, increasing the speed. Nothing will happen. It'll be. I played it for like 10 minutes and nothing happened.
Okay.
Whereas the old one would have been completely gone in.
This is really
20 seconds maybe. So this is key because this is literally like the personification of the issues that people have. Obviously, it doesn't show all the issues, but
I really wonder what the other guys, like some ex-colleagues, what they would say about this. For example, Dusan, because he was a big fan of Clank.
Andras.
Dusan Andras.
You guys remember Dusan Andras, right? The Jiggy Jiggy. Yeah, he loved Clank. Yeah.
Okay, so what's next? Another nice thing that we created during this update and also during working on this video is what we call offline synchronized renderer or offline renderer, or sometimes we call it sync rend. So basically the idea here is that we needed something for creating the videos for trailers where we'll have synchronized physics and render, so there are no missed frames or double frames or something like this, or even if there is a small little lag, just couple milliseconds, we didn't want it to affect the recording of the video, because before this, when we were recording the videos, all the times, we played in real time, and there is also some real-time video capturing software, Fraps or something similar, recording the video, and then we will work with this in Adobe After Effects or something like that. And the thing is that all the scenes had to run kind of in real time. We were praying to Clank, so they don't. There is not little lag or little stuttering or something like this. And also one thing which doesn't have nothing with performance is that when the physics or the game logic update and the render update are sometimes not in sync. Sometimes you will get few updates and one render. You will perceive this as little lags or stutters, or basically even the ship that is just flying through space, you will not see it nice smooth movement, but it was this stuttering movement.
Anyone who's recorded videos, there's probably I think I saw Ritty and I saw Spets and I saw Wedge in the chat. So anyone who's used to making Space Engineers videos and footage will know what we're talking about. And it's like these where you see double frames basically. And when you're playing, you don't notice it, but when you view a video, trying to get a silky smooth video, it can be quite hard because of the way the videos record, right?
So the solution to this is this SyncRend, and it's a tool which is inside our Autotest tool, which is another tool that we are using, that our testers, they record keyboard presses and mouse presses and mouse movement, basically all controls. It's recorded, and then in a, how to say this, in a deterministic manner, we can replay it again. So testers are like automating testing of certain scenarios this way. So what Joel was doing now is that when he's recording the scenes, for example, crash of the red ship to the blue ship, he will play the scene as usual. Autotest tool is recording all the key presses he's doing, and then he launches the Autotest tool again with this synchronized renderer enabled, and it renders the game again, like everything he was doing again, and update and render are synchronized. So there is always one update, one render, one update, one render. There is no chance that you will have two updates, one render, and so on. So, and this rendering is done in offline, so we can render in 60 FPS, even 4K, without like worrying about the performance. Of course, the game will render for much longer than when it's played in real time, but again, it's offline, you don't care. You will get a bunch of PNG files, I think, and it's a lot of data if you are doing 60
it's
FPS,
a lot of data,
4K.
yeah.
I think you told me like 14 giga, couple seconds.
Yeah, like 10
something.
seconds is like 10 gigabyte.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again,
that's 4K 60 FPS.
we would like to do a 4K 60 FPS, because it's just cool. And so this tool enables this for us. And if I'm not wrong, even though I think it's not in the hotfix, but I think if we are updating the Autotest tool, with every hour update as part of SDK, Joel, mod SDK, like this content folder where we have all the tools for models.
They're in the.
So if we are updating this with every update, and I'm supposing yes, then people also already got this tool. There is.
They're there now actually, because I'm recording. I was recording off the CTG branch.
So you are not using Visual Studio.
A mix, but I know the tool is in that folder now.
Okay,
so I think people should have that access to that.
Yeah. And we'll write a blog post where we'll explain a little bit how to use it, where to find it, and so on. But I think like really curious people can already find it, and I think it's a really great thing, this tool, and it's something that we wanted like for many years. I don't even know why we never created it, because maybe there wasn't enough time, but it's very good. And what else?
Finally managed to tempt.
There is just one disadvantage, of course, that it doesn't really work with multiplayer. You know what I mean? Because you cannot record the other people with multiplayer, so that's one thing. And the other is audio. That when you are rendering in this offline mode, the audio doesn't make sense. That's it. But if you want to create some cinematic videos, I think that's your tool. It's really good, and the motion is so smooth that I don't know, you just want to touch it. So it's really very smooth. And if I'm not wrong, Joel, which scenes from the latest trailer were recorded with this thing? Because I know not all of them.
The two crashes.
Okay, so when the ship crashed on the planet, and then when the red ship hit the blue ship. Yeah, and you can see as the red ship is moving through space, before you would see like this kind of movement, and now it's like 60 FPS, very smooth.
I was just showing them, Marit, there was 3 of them, and the game was running at like 0.5 sim speed.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
And before, I mean, in the past, at some point in the past, one would bring the game to its knees, basically. So that's really crazy to see. Yeah, this is this is my saving of crashing into planets. So ignore the naming scheme here, and we'll go back to. I want to just check what I haven't. We've. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we covered all the.
Yeah, we covered all the points.
Yeah.
We wanted to
And
do.
did we show all the scenes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah,
Okay.
we can see one of them again because you weren't here earlier. We can show off the. I tell you what, we can just show off. It's it was just a really cool scene for the trailer, which is the printer. I think it was this one. This is really nice. So you can kind of see this was literally the shot I was doing. I would have been going like this. You could probably remember something like this, right? So when I turn this on, take control. It's beautiful. This is honestly amazing. It was nice because it was showing off the use of rotors and pistons. These doorways, these come down. I think that looks awesome. It was one of my favourite shots in the trailer. I think one I was most proud of. It was just like, there we go. Also doing a respawn. It's basically building all the classic ships up for this thing. So yeah, really funky. It's pretty cool, eh, Pat? Yeah, so I mean, we mentioned it earlier. There's so much to talk about, and I'm not going to go all over it again. Honestly, I recommend you read the blog post. But just that's what's really cool is that VTOLs are real now. Where how this is center of mass-based thrust. Beforehand, if you were flying in gravity and you had a ship and it had a rotor on it or something, you'd feel the drag of the subpart. But now you don't have that. You have this center of mass-based thrust, which is massive. There's a huge amount of changes in this update, which will change the way you play the game, I think, or at least now allow you to do things that you weren't able to do. So yeah, I think VTOLs, all that good stuff, are going to be much more fun now. So that's just one of the things, guys. This is one of the things that was released today. We mentioned it earlier, but there's more of that kind of good stuff. Right, so there's this one that I showed off here, and I also go over one of the other ones. Yeah, shout out to Aragaf for helping with the setup of some of these scenes. We can also show the. Trying to think if there's anything else, Marek, if we've gone through everything.
Mm-hmm. I think we have, yeah. And I think we also answered all the questions. So yeah, we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay, so it was a pleasure to present this stuff to you, and see you hopefully sometime soon.
Cool, yeah, I think we'll hopefully have something. We haven't streamed for a while, but I think there's going to be a stream in much nearer than before. So yeah.
So see you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you very much, guys. And I'm going to end with the trailer one more time before we finish here. Thank you very much, Marek.